My name is Amy, and I'm a 34-year-old art conservator. I live on an island called Garrick's 8, which is located in southwest London in the middle of the River Thames. The island is home to 22 houses and is named after the 18th century actor David Garrick. 8 years ago, I made an impulsive decision to move to the island after being priced out of the rental market in nearby Kingston upon Thames. The reason this was such a crazy decision is because the island has no land access and can only be reached by boat. I live with my 2 cats, Rambo and Anakin, as well as my dog Lemon. You may think that island life is all sunsets, kayaking and cocktails, but the realities of dealing with Mother Nature, temperamental boat engines and the local wildlife always keeps you on your toes. Join me on this adventure as I renovate my house and garden, learn more than I ever thought there was to know about boating life on the Thames, and jump feet first into all the new experiences coming my way. Welcome to my island life.
It will be forever, or I'll never fall in love. In a restless world like this is, love is ended before it's due.
So I've just got home from work. It's about 10 o'clock at night, and of course as I was at work I remember thinking that the only flaw in my awning plan is the fact that if it rains, I don't think it's taut enough or angled enough for the rain to just bounce off it. I think it would pool in it, and then that's obviously going to get heavy and pull on all the fixings, which is what we don't want. So that's fine, I just need to remove it in the rain. But of course, as I came home, it started raining, so I've just been outside now trying to devise a way quickly of, I thought I would just take it all down, but then I forgot that I'd cable tied some bits, and so then I had to cut the cable ties. Anyways, I used some of the extra ripstop fabric to make some long ties, and I've sort of rolled it up and not unclipped the whole thing. So this is what it looks like. So I've just rolled it all the way up here. I just unclipped it from the sides, and I've used ripstop to sort of tie it up. Wouldn't say it's the most attractive thing, but it will work for tonight and all day tomorrow when I'm not here, and we'll have to just keep thinking about this. So I'm at home today, and as you can see, it's raining. I thought I would take the chance to run a little experiment and see how the awning holds up in the rain, and whether it's safe to leave out or whether it needs to be brought in each time. The great news is that it seems to be tight enough to let the rain drain off, and it does mostly provide a dry area on the patio, which is amazing. Amazingly, the awning is still holding up even in this monsoon rain. I'm pretty impressed, I have to say. So one of the problems that my house has in the summer when it's particularly hot outside is that, as you can see behind me, which is the back sort of wall of the house, there's no windows. So I actually, aside from the big French doors that go to the front of the house, there's no windows that open in the back of the house, which means that there's no through breeze, through draft. So when the house heats up, the air just doesn't go anywhere. So I tend to have my back door open quite a lot of the time, just to try and get a breeze through, try and keep the house cool. The problem with that is that everyone can see in, The dog likes to go out and have a wander around, which isn't ideal because not everybody wants a dog just showing up at their house. And also lets all the bugs in. So I've been trying to come up with a way of tackling this problem, and obviously in a sort of cheap DIY manner, as usual. And so I have bought, what you can see on the ground there, that is just like fly screen, and I'm going to try and make my own version of the fly screen that's on the French doors. So I think I've got some binding. I think I can cut the fly screen to the size of the back door and bind it around the edges, and then either use Velcro or maybe some small nails or hooks or something to kind of be able to hook it around the back door on the outside, so I can have the door that swings open on the inside, and then just have that up. We'll see. That is the only other problem, is that I need to have a gap small enough for the cat to come in, but because as you can see where the cat flap is, Rambo comes in to eat his food, and he likes to come in multiple times during the day, so he needs to be able to come in safely. The dog needs to not be able to get out. Hopefully it gives a little bit of privacy of people walking by, and it stops all the bugs. So again, this is another sort of Amy DIY, give it a go and see what happens special. So yeah, let's see what I end up making. So this is the bug net cut down to the right size for just a bit bigger than the door frame. So I'm going to see what I've got in my sewing kit that I can use as sort of binding around the edges or something. So in amongst all my things, I was sure I had some binding, but I don't. I've obviously used it up. So we're just going to go for the quick and dirty Velcro method and see if that holds. The reason I wanted to put the binding on was not necessarily because the net frays, but just because I wanted to have a better base for the Velcro to hold on to. But let's have a go and see if the Velcro works. So annoyingly, it turns out that this is the only amount of Velcro I have left after doing the top. Very bad planning on my part. I usually always have Velcro. So I'm just going to cut this into a few smaller strips and try and do one kind of each side and then one down low. Hopefully that's enough to kind of deter Lemon from going walkabouts, and we'll just have to see how it works. So it's all Velcroed. Hopefully Rambo can get in, hopefully Lemon can't get out, and hopefully I can get back in the house now without tearing the whole thing down. I don't see this as like a long-term solution. Might end up having to buy a proper one like I got for the front, but those were like close to £30, and this has basically just cost me £5 because that's all that the netting cost. So it's a sort of cheap and cheerful solution for the moment, and we'll see if it works, and if it works then I'll think about maybe investing in something a bit better. Yeah, let's see if I can get back inside. already not really working very well. The Velcro is actually much stronger stuck to itself than it is stuck to the net. Well, I've opened half of it now. I'll get inside. Basically nobody's allowed to come in anymore. Everybody can just stand by the door and yell. It also definitely doesn't give as much privacy as I was expecting. I think I expected it to be a lot darker, but oh well. It's there for now. Well, clearly that didn't work. Back to the drawing board, I guess. So, unsurprisingly, my toxic trait is starting one job and then finding about 10 more to do, and starting all of those jobs at once and then just kind of ending up in a bit of a bomb site. So, the plan this morning was tidy up the side of the garden where there's still grass and around the shed, which I've just kind of allowed to just become overgrown. But it's starting to look a bit shabby, starting to not be able to kind of access things. Definitely want to get the kayak out, but couldn't really get to it because it was all overgrown. So yes, that's what I started with. I've now ended up pulling everything out of the shed, reorganizing the shed, tidying things, cleaning things. So yeah, it's all things that need to be done, but just, did I need to start them all right away at the same time? Probably not. Oh well. At least it's a nice day. So in attempt number 2 to try and fix the door issue, since yesterday's mesh didn't work, I've got a sort of hook and catch fixing that I'm going to install on the back door, well, you know, to the door and then behind the door. That'll hold the door open, which would be quite nice. And then I'm going to use pallet. I'm going to cut down a pallet to make a sort of baby gate type thing that can sit in the door. And that's actually quite useful because it means it's got a hole big enough for the cat to come through, but not so big that Lemon can get through. Doesn't really fix the privacy issue, doesn't fix the bug issue, but it'll fix the heat issue for the day, and we'll go from there. Good job I got those pallets, I guess. Step 1 done. Hook on the door installed. Very nice indeed. Now I've just got to sort out the measurements for the pallet and make the gate to sit inside. So I must say, I'm very proud of this, very happy with this. It does a lot of what I need, and my measurements worked. It sits just sort of in the door frame, so easily removable at the end of the day if I want to close the door, but cats can come in, dogs can't go out. Like I said, it doesn't quite address the privacy issue and it doesn't quite address the bug issue, but you know, for the moment it hits what it needs to. So I'm going to take it out, give it a bit of sand, and I'll probably paint it white just because then it looks a bit nicer. It doesn't look like I've just shoved a pallet in the middle of the door frame. Yeah, it's nice and sunny outside, so hopefully it'll dry pretty quickly. Maybe I'll paint it blue actually. I was going to paint it white. Maybe I'll paint it blue, the house colour. Ooh, that would be quite nice. Might do that. And here we have the finished product. I am really over the moon with it. It looks great painted and sanded. It looks pretty polished and finished. It looks great sitting in the doorway. It doesn't look like I've just shoved a pallet in there. And actually, it just works really, really well. So, yes, don't give up. Thanks for watching this week. Remember, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with all your friends. See you next week.